Software videos.
Y'all want some content? That title probably got a lot of people's attention. What could a YouTuber with a measly bunch of subscribers know that I don't know about platform fighters? Well, I'm not a leaker, but there is info that I do have that you probably want to know about. So, want information? Let's get into it, shall we? Panzen. What kind of ideas do you get when you hear of a name like that? Apparently, now I've done a little research on this, so Panzen doesn't really have a definition by itself, but when you combine the words, especially when you look at suffixes, there could be a sort of reference to it. So apparently pan, right? Pan is supposed to be something that is on or above something, and Zen, as everyone probably knows from things like Pokemon with Zen Headbutt, but it basically just means peaceful and calm, which, you know, when you put it together kind of makes sense because of the world that Panzen is supposed to be. But why am I talking about this? Well, apparently that is the title for an up-and-coming platform fighter, a 3D platform fighter. Now, a lot of this is going to be referenced to like the website, so if you have it, or I'll show it up if anything else, but we'll go over it. But apparently it's, you know, 3D platform fighter, light horror cartoon, what does that mean? I'm looking this up. Light horror is a division in the horror genre that categorizes horror movies from the early days of cinema to the 1970s. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but are you sure? Whatever the hell that means. It's gonna be made in Unity. Well, you could take it or leave it when it comes to Unity games. So, the team is called Lunky Monk. That's really funny considering that what we're gonna talk about when it comes to the spirit realm. And it's located in Texas.
You're ugly.
That's pretty funny. It's supposed to revolve around a sort of spirit realm, and this spirit realm is called Panium, which is gonna go back, which is probably a reference to their team called Lucky Monk, since there's a lot of monks here. So that's good. It's supposed to be beyond the reach of time. Okay, well, if you're a power scaler, you got something to sink your teeth into. And that's pretty cool, you know. They have all the building blocks when it comes to like what their place is gonna be, but we all know there's always gonna be that everlasting question. It's a cool place, guys, your lores can be cool, but what about the characters? A fighting game is pretty much maybe it might spark a debate, but a fighting game is usually as good as the characters you have. So, we know 3 of them. Yolk, Varen, I'm gonna call her Varen, I don't care, and Teppen. Teppen? Okay, cool. Okay, Yolk. I'm just going to flash the description on the screen rather than like show you everything, just so that you can know by yourself. So I'm not going to spend that much time on every single one's description. I will reference it for potential lore reasons though. So I don't know whether or not this description means that Yolk will be like a final boss or like the main character, but either way, let's see what we do know. He will change fighting styles apparently. This gives me Shulk vibes. But instead of something like the properties changing, I would assume that moves get better or worse depending on it. So what do I mean? So maybe there's a red version of the stance that he takes when he does like a down B or something, and that does more knockback with like smash attacks. But when you have, but because of that, you have more end lag to moves. Maybe there's like a wind one where like it's not only like better jumps and aerials, and you get better momentum sideways, but maybe your momentum when it comes to up is like bad. And like maybe there's like a speedy version that focuses on like footwork, ground movement, maybe focus on tech chasing, and like the final one probably, you know, a defensive style that doesn't kill, but you'll survive and maybe get a parry option. This all, again, is only with the small amount of information that we have based on Yog's description. Jesus Christ, why is he that old? He looks so young. Jesus. Oh, okay, cool. Varine. Okay, again, I'm gonna put the description up. You can read that for your own. Apparently she has a Gaiden style. So this is very interesting. Gaiden usually actually refers to ninja, which that's her description. She literally comes from one. But the problem is, it doesn't really tell us like an archetype. Like for Yolk, we know the archetype. Like it literally says it in his description. But like a ninja could like be anything. It could be mid-range, it could be a rush down, it could be anything. Wait a minute. That's kind of interesting. Wait, what if she's actually the main character? Well, with the information that we have of Yolk, right? You gotta earn the right to battle him. But with Varine, there's like no information. I mean, she's part of this Noriom, whatever. This tribe, which apparently in Japanese means hope, and the main character is always going to be in the game like the hopeful one. So maybe, who knows? We don't really know anything about her, like, again, we don't know anything about her archetype, but if I had to make any predictions, I would say that she's probably the main one. Probably Yolk is like the final Akuma, just like sitting there, just like ready for everyone. Her ability apparently says something like Overclock, which could be a move that enhances your moves, but you suffer after using it. Maybe like, I'm thinking like Smash 4 Palutena custom move. So like you activate an ability, you get like better aerials, better everything, you're faster, but at the end of it you become like a worse being maybe. So that can always be a thing. But again, prediction, we won't know until the game comes out. Finally, the third one, Teppen. Wow, you are old. Zoner. Thank you, Lucky Monk. Thank you for just at least giving me PTSD at the start rather than in the middle. At least you show your hand. There's not really much to Teppen here. It's always very interesting because it's like in the description it says like one of the most dangerous things is themselves. That's very weird. That's very strange. Again, don't really have a lot, but we gotta have something to do with everything, you know. Okay, mechanics. There is quite literally no way to know of any sort of mechanics. The only thing that we know is the region that they're going to be fighting against, some of the art that's going around, and the characters. So mechanics, this is going to be like more off the cuff than anything else. So we know that the potential of gimmicks of the characters, but we don't really know what mechanics the game will have. We won't know if there's like wave dashing, we won't know if there's assists, we won't know if there's parries. There's just like nothing. But Lucky Monk has said in here that they actually want to make waves in the platform fighter genre. So I assume by what you mean by make waves, it means like let's try to put our own like sort of let's try to evolutionize the genre. So I would assume that there's something of the matter that you can do. So let's put our thinking caps on. Panzen is a spirit realm, so let's say that the main mechanic might be something that revolves on spirits, which might be what the gimmicks are referring to. Maybe it's like the different spirits that you can control, which is weird because Teppen kind of references this by like other people that he like fights with that has spirits. So maybe that is the case. And it's strange because like, look, his greatest adversary may prove to be his selves. Okay, So maybe his selves means like his spirits, and every fighter needs to like maintain and perfect this spirit, or maybe their souls. Maybe that's why they might have a parry mechanic on the line. That might be like what you use. You use it to fight, or maybe like time could be used on. Panium is supposed to be a place where time doesn't really mean a whole lot, so a mechanic like a counter that summons a future version of yourself to fight, or even a past version, doesn't really sound too off. Again, who knows? But now, there's a lot that we don't know. There's no news on rollback, there's no like single player voice acting. I'm pretty sure these things can be answered in a trailer that might come soon, maybe this year, who knows. So, there's a lot that we don't know about Panzen, but I wouldn't really be surprised if we did get some information soon, especially this has been like years in the making. Lucky Monk has been like has had this trademark and has had like been doing this for like years. So honestly, a trailer that might, mix more questions into the mix isn't really off the table. I think this has potential. Of course, we don't, I've said this over and over before, we don't know everything. I literally just gave you every single thing that we have in like the website, so who knows what mechanics. I might be just plain wrong, and I might just have to put on the dunce hat, but it's interesting nonetheless. I just want to spread something out there because I know that a lot of people don't potentially know about Panzen. I've had this sort of information for a long time, but I haven't really had the notoriety in order to like show people. So here it is. All my thoughts, all the information, potential, what have you. I hope and I pray that this game does very well, even if Rivals 2 comes out and blows everything under the water. Remember, guys, just because Rivals 2 is coming out doesn't mean that you can't enjoy other things in the meantime. So let's give some faith and let's give some appreciation to the others that might come afterward. Thank you so much. I hope Lucky Monk does very well. I hope everything goes as smoothly as possible. Hopefully your game is great.